You're welcome to another edition of 3M Sports on Nigerian football. Yes, of course, it's holiday moment, and of course, everybody, doing their own business, trying to catch fun, and of course, celebrate the moment. The Muslims, of course, are celebrating uh, Salah, while of course the Christians are still fasting towards the Easter period. Well, sport, of course, doesn't stop during fasting. Matches were played, and of course, sport will always continue to be a theme of entertainment and business. Well, like I said, you're on to your favorite sport program on Nigerian football 3M Sports channel. Mr. Economy is my name, and today, of course, as usual, we'll be looking at the FA Cup, Nigerian National League, Nigerian Women League, and Nigerian Professional Football League. We'll be starting first, of course, with the FA Cup. Like you all know, the Federation Cup is in its round of 32, and matches will be played on the second, it is tomorrow, for that of women, and one of the men will take place on the 5th. And of course, like you all know, the Federation Cup, also known as the President Federation Cup, actually started in 1945 as the Governors Cup. And of course, between that period and now, the name actually the cup has actually been tagged with different names. Like remember that from between the 1954 and 1959, it was known as the FA Cup. And of course, between 1960 and 1998, which of course most of us actually really followed at that period, was known as the Challenge Cup, the Nigerian Challenge Cup. And of course, between 1991 and the year 2008, it was known as the Coca-Cola were sponsoring it, was known as Coca-Cola Cup. And of course, between the year 2009 and 2002 and 2016, of course, it was known as the Federation Cup, while between 2017 and 2022, 2012, of course, 2022, it was known as the Airtel Cup. Airtel were the ones sponsoring the cup. Right now, of course, it's known as the President Federation Cup, and is in its round of 32. And matches will be played in various centers this week. And of course, for that of the male, like you all know, 3SC actually have been knocked off for fielding a wrong player. And 3SC is one of the teams that has won most of the FA Cup, winning eight times. And Railway of Lagos in those days, they've won it also 6 times. And Rangers also have also won it about 6 times. Like one of the most successful teams in Nigeria. So 3SA I will not be there to increase their tally. So matches we play in various places, and we are calling you all to all go out to go watch the men and the male and female FA Cup round of 32, which of course will lead us to the next stage. Possibly that will be the quarterfinal stage. And of course, like you know, the FA Cup, small teams, of course, they get to meet the big ones. That is the fun of Federation Cup, where the giant teams, small teams will beat big teams when it comes to the FA Cup. And now taking you straight now to the Nigerian Women Football League. Yes, of course, that's a league that its glamour has actually really improved. And of course, with the way talents have been churned out in the Nigerian Women Football League, a lot of them are traveling abroad. A lot, of course, are still playing in the local scene, and we're seeing talents. And of course, our female national teams are actually all doing well because the league has gone to get stronger, and talents are also being discovered every year, year in, year out. And of course, like you all know right now, the Nigerian Women Football League is in its week 10. And just last week, we saw the week 9 matches are being played. And of course, it was Delta losing to Bayelsa at home. Bayelsa and Rivers have continued to beat all comers. And like today, of course, we'll bring you the media officer of Bayelsa Queens and the person of Priye Yebrief, of course, will be telling us about Bayelsa Queens, their plans, and of course, they're talking about the Nigerian Women Football League also. And of course, Bayelsa won 1-0 away. We saw Atlant beating Ekiti 1-0. Robots trashed the Benue, the whipping team in that group 8-1. And of course, Dan has also lost to Nasarawa Amazons 3-0. Our coach of Nasarawa Amazons, Danjuma, said that his team, of course, has found its form and they will continue to improve and hoping to pick a continental ticket. Of course, it was Remo 2, Conference Queens 0. Ibom Angels actually lost also to Rivers at home 1-0. And of course, talking about the table, Bayelsa topping with 23 points, Rivers second with 23 points. That is Group A of the Nigerian Women Football League. Bayelsa topping 23 points, Rivers second 23 points, Niger Rattlers, of course, 16 points, and you have FC Robo coming fourth with 13 points. Deltas are fifth with 10 points, Ibom 10 points, and Adama 7 points, and Benue Queens yet to pick a point. Now talking about the Group B of the Nigerian Women Football League. Of course, you have Remo and the Edo Queens, of course, dictating the pace in that place. We saw matches that were played, and of course, on the table right now, the Edo Queens are topping with 23 points. Remo are second with 22 points, Group B. And of course, you have Nasara Abia now. Of course, Nigeria Ratters with 18 points, Abia with 16 points, and Ekiti 9 points, Atlant 8 points, Danas 5 points, and Confluence Queens with 3 points. Fixtures for the week 10, of course, in Group A, we see Edo hosting Atlant. Of course, Atlant are promised to go and take the pound of flesh. They lost at home to Edo, and now they're going to Edo. Of course, they promised to pick their own 3 points there in Edo. Let's see how it goes this weekend. Ekiti will welcome Remo to Ekiti. Confluence Schools to play Danas, and of course, National United will play Abia. In Group B, we will see Rivers playing Niger Ratters. Adama will welcome Robo to their home ground, and Benue Queens, of course, will be hoping to pick their first point. They didn't go on break. They continue to train, and their coach, of course, Leadi, has promised that something good will come out of this their match, of course, in the week 10 of the Nigerian Women's Football League. Of course, Bayelsa will play Ibom Angels. Yes, we have Priya Brifa, the media officer of Bayelsa, with us at the moment. Of course, we're telling us a lot about Bayelsa Queens and the Nigerian Football League and their plans, of course, for continental for the continent next season. Mr. Priya, you are welcome to this program. You're on to 3M Sports. It's a station that talks about Nigerian football. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Priya. Unmute your. Good morning, Mr. Priya. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Try and unmute yourself. Hello? We're not hearing you, Mr. Priya. Okay, well, I think by the time we get him, we'll come back to him. Hello, Mr. Priya. Hello? Try and unmute yourself. Well, I think by the time we get him, because the network issue, we'll come back to him. Let him just keep trying. Well, let's quickly move now to the Nigerian National League. Hello, is it there? Hello, Mr. Priya, good morning. Hello, Mr. Priya, good morning. Well, no, we're not hearing you. Well, let's now quickly move to the Nigerian National League. Of course, it has been on break, and a lot of people actually complain about how the long break for the Nigerian National League. Well, we have 4 groups: Group A, B, C, and D. Of course, the Group A and B, of course, actually has the teams from the south, while Group C and D, of course, have teams from the north. And as it is right now, we know that most of the teams, they actually are looking for a ticket to the Premier League in Group in Group A. Of course, we have Crown FC. Hello, Mr. Priya. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thank God we got you. You are welcome to the program. You are 3M Sports channel, a station that talks about Nigerian football. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as it is right now, Bayelsa are yet to lose a match. Rivers Angels also with 23 points. How long do you think this neck-to-neck stuff will last?
Come again.
Bayelsa 23 points, Rivers 23 points. The two teams yet to lose a match. How long will you think this? You think this close marking will last? Do we see?
Well, I don't know how long it will last, but truth be told, Rivers is a good side. Rivers Angels are a good side. Bayelsa Queens also a good side. But for how long the going together will last, that I don't know and I can't tell. But we have matches tomorrow. Rivers Angels are playing tomorrow. Bayelsa Queens are playing tomorrow. So 90 minutes will tell whether two of them will still continue with this stride or not. 90 minutes will tell tomorrow.
Yes, how has been Barca performance in the last 3 seasons? Some of the fans want to know how it has been the last 3 seasons here with Barca.
Bayelsa Queens have been performing well. They've been performing well. You've seen the record yourself. But last year they narrowly missed out on a continental ticket. Yes, they narrowly missed out on continental ticket because they played a 1-1 draw with Edo Queens in the finals, and Rivers also played a 1-1 draw with Heartland of Owerri, and that was why Bayelsa Queens lost out narrowly last year on the continental ticket. But for this season, we have resolved to go back to the continent because that is where we belong. And for the past 3 seasons, we have been doing extremely well. And you are aware, 2 seasons ago, in Asaba, the final, the Super Six, we saw what happened. If not for, I don't want to talk about refereeing anyway, but we all saw what happened. The referees played a huge role for Delta Queens to win that match. If not, Bayelsa Queens would have won back-to-back Super Six going to the continent again. But you saw what happened 3 seasons ago in Asaba. And so that was how we lost out. But for last year's Super Six, we lost out here at home without getting a win over Edo Queens.
How will you rate the performance of the Nigerian Football League Secretariat and, of course, the board itself? Looking at the last 2 years, are we seeing any improvement? And what are things you think?
For the last 3 seasons in the Nigerian Women Football League Premiership, I've seen improvement, I must say, but I am not too pleased with this year's, this current season, the 2024-25 season. I'm not too pleased with it because the league has no sponsor. The league has no sponsor, and even if you win the league, how much is going to be your take home? Maybe 10 million naira or 5 million naira. What is that compared to what you spend? What you spend when you are going to play away matches? We spend more because you talk of transportation, you talk of accommodation, you talk of feeding. The 5 million at the end of the season that you'll be giving, or 10 million, is nothing to write home about. So I think this season I am not too impressed because the league has no sponsor. The league board should try as much as they can to make sure they have sponsors for the league. Look at the male league; they have sponsors, and at the end of this season, the winner will go home with 150 million naira. What is the female league doing? Nothing.
200 million naira now. Well, I think that's why it's not 200 million naira for the winner of the MPFL league. It has been increased. Well, I think that's why we need to promote our league to ensure that we entice our companies to come partner with our leagues. And that's why we also craving and crying for the referees to continue to do a good job to attract, so that will attract fans to the stadium. And of course, fans to the stadium, like we always say, will also attract companies to come partner the leagues and the clubs. Well, before you go, what will you talk about? I want to say about the new level of players discovery for the Nigerian women football. We've seen a lot of talent rising here and there. I think we've lost.
Getting.
Hello.
Is not an exception because we have seen so many good players. Like I can hear you.
Okay. Go on.
All right, we have seen some players this season that are exceptionally good. We talk of Ajekaye in FC Robo. We talk of so many players, and I think for me, the outstanding to me would be FC Robo because year in year out, season in season out, they bring one player that will be exceptionally good. That you know what, after the season they go abroad, but it's league. It's not healthy for our league. We should try to keep our best players in the league, maybe for 2 or 3 seasons to make the league thick. After that, you can go out.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Prayer. Open to have you some other time again on this program. Great contribution from you. So wishing your team all the best, and of course, also praying that you go to the continent next season and do us proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Well, that's the media officer of Bayelsa Queens, Priya Briefat, talking about the Nigerian Women Football League, its club, and of course the prospect itself. Well, let's quickly move on to the Nigerian National League. Like I said, of course, in Group A of the Nigerian National League, you have Crown FC topping the table with 21 points. Of course, from 10 matches, you have Warri Wolves second, of course, with 20 points from the same 10 matches. And then at the bottom of the table is 1472 FC. The club at the bottom with just 4 points, and the ticket, of course, to the Premier League is still open between Crown, Warri, Smart City. Of course, you can still rule out Inter Lagos with 16 points. And for Group B, of course, Queen Khalifa and Osun have continued to, drag it between the two of them. Queen Khalifa are topping with 25 points. Of course, you have Osun United with 22 points. And the solution, of course, I would say 17 points. Rovers, 70 points also. And at the bottom, of course, surprisingly, of course, Gateway at the bottom of the table with just 7 points in Group B. And for Group C, Wiki Tourists are topping the table in Group C with 13 points. And of course, Mighty Jet are second with 11 points. Zamfara United are last on the table with 5 points. In Group D, Yobe Stars are there with 11 points. Doma FC are there, of course, the second with 10 points. And we have our Kadra Warriors, of course, 6 on the table with 6 points. Of course, matches are scheduled for this week for the Nigerian National League. In Group A, we see 72 playing Dakada. Beyond El Limit to play Crown FC. And Smart City will play Abia Comet. Of course, we'll see Warri Wolves also Inter Lagos. In Group B, it's First Bank versus Godswill Akpabio. And Gateway will welcome ABS to Ogun State. Queen Khalifa will play Madiba FC. And Solutions, of course, will host Osun United. In Group C, Gombe United will play Jigawa FC. Sokoto will welcome Wiki to their home ground. Safari United will play Mighty Jets. And for Group D, Basira FC will play Kada Warriors. And Doma FC plays Sporting Supreme, while Kebbi Stars will play Yobe. Kebbi United will play Yobe Stars. Now let's quickly bring you to the ground, the camp of Kada Warriors, where we actually spoke with 2 of their coaches, the technical advisor in person of Danlame Umar, a coach that have been around, and of course also Yinka Saliu, the head coach of Kada Warriors and the team captain. Just step back and listen to this interview from the 2 coaches and the captain of Kada Warriors, and let's get to know their plans for the second round, which starts this weekend. That was the technical advisor of Kada Warriors, Dalami Umar, the former coach of Dakada. Now let's take that of Yinka Saliu, the head coach of Kada Warriors. Of course, they're going to second round like a Warrior, hoping to pick a ticket to play in the Premier League. The chief coach of Kada Warriors.
The second round, we have management authority has taken pictures and we have a new general and for over 4 weeks here things have changed drastically, especially mentality of the team now more focused and more committed money so that we get out of the position we are. And I believe combination of new management, what impacted players, we are not even thinking of trying to get out of the position we are. But just we have agreed that we are going to push as far as we can for potential. So, away from Canada, you can pretty much how would you describe well, in our days, we play more. Why we play football? Because like if you watch, you are not even putting you probably to play now for the tenant for the money. Very few have passion. That's why Messi is out to us dominated the scene. But in our time, it's very difficult to find there is always another.
Well, of course, that was Ayinka Saliu, of course, a former international, and of course, also has been to different clubs as a coach. Now, let's quickly take the captain of the Kada Warriors before we go to the next story.
My name is Mike. I'm the head captain of Kada Warriors. Yeah, Kada Warriors. We are expecting to turn up, and yeah, we are seeing the changes for the management, coaching, and everything. And we are confident enough that the second time we are going to with our own inshallah, we are hoping for this team to get promotion to the Premier League. And based on how we are working, we have been working so hard to see that we are achieving our goal. It's far. We are happy to support the government, and you can see from our training facilities and our training and everything because I think this postponement of the league, I think if not because of the postponement, people have gone there based on we have capacity and everything.
Yes, of course, away from the camp of the Kada Warriors, let's move straight to the Nigerian Premier League, of course, the topmost, the senior brother to all the leagues in Nigeria at the moment. And of course, like you all know, we are into the week 32 of the Nigerian Premier League, and a lot is happening. And the week 32 matches, of course, would be interesting ones, of course. It would go a long way to decide a lot. Great fixtures, of course, between teams at the bottom and the teams at the top. At the moment, of course, we know that Remos are still topping with 60 points. 60 points. So let's look at the week 31 matches first and see how it was. Of course, in week 31, we saw Kwara United beating Nasarawa United 3-1-0. Sunshine they were to a goalless draw by Atlant. Pillars also played the goalless draw with Ben Insurance and Kano. And of course, it was Bayelsa 1, Rivers 0. Abia defeated Lobby 2-0. And of course, Academy also played a 2-2 draw with 3SC. Of course, 3SC were actually up, and of course, they lost grip anyway, they ended up picking up a point. And of course, Aqua 2, Tornado 0. Aqua continued to rise from the bottom and trying to raise ahead of quarter of relegation. Raymond defeated Enyimba 2-0, and of course, Rangers 0 plus 2-1. And of course, that was another upset for Rangers. Their fourth home match lost this season. Of course, we still have some outstanding matches that will be played, of course, possibly before by next week. Of course, we still have Ikorodu and Katsina match outstanding. And for the table, Remo are topping with 30 points on the table of the Nigerian Premier League. We have Remo with 30 points, and the Rivers, of course, are there with 52 points on the table. Abia are third with 50 points. 3SC are fourth with 47 points. Rangers fifth with 45 points. Ikorodu are sixth with 45 points. And of course, looking at Aqua United, are 18th on the table, coming from the bottom, coming from, of course, they were 19th before, they're 19, of course, showing that they really want to escape relegation. Of course, they are there with 37 points. The National are 17th with 36 points. Atland are 16 with 35 points, while Sunshine at 34 points. Lobby still remain rooted at the bottom of the table. Now, talking about the fixtures where you watch some clips, of course, looking at the fixtures this weekend, I tell you it's going to be interesting one. A loss or a draw, of course, or a win will go a long way to determine who actually comes second and third and who also goes down relegation. Looking at the match between Lobby and Sunshine, Lobby, of course, are already down, and there's stories about Lobby giving up points to other teams. Sunshine are trying to escape relegation, and of course, they are playing away. Who knows what will happen? A loss by Sunshine will definitely let them know that National League next season is here to stay. And of course, another interesting one will be between 3SC and Ikorodu. 3SC are fourth on the table with 47 points. Ikorodu are sixth with 45 points. A win for 3SC will continue to make them hope for a third place to give them a continental ticket, while Ikorodu also want to go all out to see that they will continue to have that agenda of coming third to go continental come next season. They're there for 5 points. Also, another match again will be Rivers Remo. Remo are running away with the title. Rivers want to consolidate. Of course, they don't want to lose that match. Of course, a win for them will give them hope of still coming second or third. And while Remo, of course, we also want to ensure that they widen the gap to give them the fourth. After coming third 3 years ago, second in last season, and now they want to come first. So we have Bender playing Rangers. Tornadoes will welcome Economy. And of course, Plateau will play Aquara United. While Eyiba, look at them, will play Abia Warriors. Of course, Nasara will play Aqua. Another interesting one. Aqua are already out of the relegation zone. And Nasara, of course, are still there. A win for Nasara will further pull down Aqua into the last four. And of course, if Aqua goes ahead to win another match, it gives them a ray of hope of escaping relegation. Atlan will play welcome Pillars to Imo. And like I said, 3SC will play Ikorodu United. With this, I will come to the end of the program today. And of course, it's going to be an interesting week. FA Cup matches, Nigerian Football League matches, Nigerian National League matches, and Nigerian Premier League matches between now and Sunday. Go out there, support your team, and of course, talk more about Nigerian Football League so that we can get sponsors for our leagues and our clubs. Nothing wrong in clubs, companies branding our clubs. Nothing wrong in us having a big title sponsors. It can happen if we continue to play our role to make things get better. Referees should do their best. The league secretary, of course, are doing their best on the board, and let's all put hands together to make Nigerian league and football, of course, a good one that will be comparable to other leagues in Africa and other parts of the world. Peter Economy is my name. Go subscribe on this station. Click like to give us more, of course, more room, more. Give us details, of course, to continue to do more for Nigerian football. See you next week for more on 3M Sports channel.